Overthinking is the silent killer of confidence, clarity, and action. You start going in circles, you start second guessing yourself, and you never move forward. You keep taking 1 or 2 steps forward and then 2 or 3 back, and you just keep running around, not getting anywhere in life. But there is a much better way, I'm sure you could agree. And so these 12 tools will help you quiet this mind that's inside of you. It will quiet those monkeys that may be having symbols running around. There might be multiple monkeys in your mind, and it's going to allow you to start taking control right now. Hey, it's Brendan here. Welcome to another video. Overthinking. So many people overthink things, and one thing that I always say is you can never outthink a problem. So why do we bother about overthinking? We think of what this person's going to think, we think about what's the outcome's going to be, and we end up just creating this big massive story about ourselves that makes no logical sense. It's like we might start with this thing, but then we start going, I wonder what this person's going to say. I wonder what this person's going to say. I wonder if this happens. And then we start worrying. And at the end of the day, worry is just fear in disguise. And worrying is negative goal setting. So the less that you overthink, the less that you worry, the less you stress. I don't know about you, but you probably want to worry less. Maybe that's why you're here. Not just that, but for many different reasons as well. So I'm going to go through and give you 12 ways that you can start overcoming overthinking easily and right now. It may take a little bit of time just to implement these things, and don't try and do them all at once. Just go step by step and try and do as many as you can and keep them on your mind. And I highly recommend grab a pen and paper, write it down what's retained, and you won't be able to remember it if you just watch it once. So either watch it multiple times or write down and actually implement these things. And it's just a practice, right? Understand that however old you are, you've spent so long getting to this point. So that's going to take a lot of time to, not a whole lot of time, but it's going to take a little bit of time to start changing those habits. You have a habit of overthinking. And if you think about it like that, you just need to break your habit of overthinking. So doing something once isn't going to change everything. You've got at least 28 days, I would say maybe even more, to break that habit of overthinking. So if you consistently implement these things for the next month or so, you will see a massive difference in your ability to overthink, or not to overthink, to stay calmer. So the first thing is to step back and observe your reactions. So many people, they respond straight away or react straight away. Like something happens and it's just like boom, something happens, boom. The powerful thing to do is to step back. I had a client once and he was very reactive in situations, especially with his partner. And it would just be like the instant rage that would come up and frustration. It was all that suppressed. Hey, it's Brendan. Quick interruption to your regularly scheduled video. I want to let you know of an opportunity that you have to go even deeper into this work together. Now, if you have not yet, please check out the description down below. And in there, we've got links to both Launch, our 3-day event, and also Ascend, our high performance mastermind. Now, Launch, it's our 3-day event, and it's the most ruthlessly effective event to change your brain, for you to become more aware of the subconscious programs and beliefs that have been holding you back, and to teach you the tools, the techniques, and the processes to dramatically transform those programs and those beliefs and literally rewire your brain. Again, Launch, it's our 3-day event, and we run them 5 times a year. We also have Ascend, which is our 12-month high-performing mastermind for men who are committed to their growth and who want to totally recreate themselves. I literally want to send you a new birth certificate in 12 months' time because you've grown that much. So if you're a man and you want to go fast, you want to go big, and you understand that you don't want to put off living life at your potential, and you don't want to hold on to any unnecessary stress, anxiety, fear, worry, doubt, or suffering, and you want to be liberated from those habits of thinking and live life to the fullest. So check out the links in the description, take a look at the program information and the amazing success stories from the men just like you who have gone through some of their programs, and I'll see you on the other side. And now, let's get back to the video. Obviously, we work through those things. We work through the anger, the rage, the frustrations, all those things that are under the surface. But I also said to him, I was like, hey, have you noticed that every time that you get that emotion, it's something that you just snap back. You go straight back and you respond with that. And he said, yeah. And I said, well, next time that happens, hopefully it doesn't, but next time it does, just take a step back, like physically take a step back. and just observe what's going on and observe the situation. And I said, you might need to just have that in your head and keep reminding yourself of it. Like, next time that happens, I'm gonna just step back. And then he did. And it was funny in his relationship, and he took a step back, and the next minute, the emotion just kind of came up, but then just as soon as he stepped back, the emotion just disappeared. And then he saw it completely different, because here's the thing. You are not your emotions. You are not your feelings. That's the lower part of ourselves, the lower self, or the egoic mind that experiences those things. So if we take a step back, we see that we're experiencing our emotions, we're experiencing our thoughts, we're experiencing our feelings. It's not actually who we are. And when you can take a step back, literally take a step back, and de-identify from them, you can see it for just a program that's running. It's something so simple, but it's massively powerful when you get it, and it just takes a new level of awareness. As I said, don't think you can just do it like that. It's just gonna take a little bit of time. So just pause when that happens. Don't judge. Don't judge the other person, don't judge yourself, don't judge anything. Just notice, just to be aware. Awareness creates the distance between you and your thoughts. The first step towards change is awareness. So we need to take awareness, or understand and have awareness first. And the second thing is take a deep breath. We do a lot of breath work here at our events. Not massively, like we don't just purely do breath work, but we do sprinkle little bits in. It's so important, I feel like, doing that with the unconscious work and just keeping things up. Why breath works, and to give you an example too, and this is what happens if you're a smoker, you're going to resonate with this. Taking deep breaths really calms you. You know, if someone's stressed, the best thing they can do is take deep breaths in through the nose. Now, if we breathe through the nose, that's parasympathetic, which is rest, which is the opposite of stress, right? It's calming your nervous system. Whereas breathing through the mouth is the stress response. It's sympathetic nervous system. It's fight or flight. And so most people, when something's happening, or they get triggered, or they're in a bit of a situation where they're overthinking, they're taking very shallow breaths in through the mouth and out through the mouth. Most people are mouth breathers. Now, even in through the nose, out through the mouth is wrong. I don't know why they've taught us this, but somewhere along the line we have. So just thinking about taking deep breaths through your nose, like if you just were there and just all of a sudden took 5 deep breaths in through the nose, out through the nose, you would feel so much calmer. Now, when someone smokes, what do? They think the cigarette actually relaxes them, but it's actually they make an unconscious decision, like, I can relax now. So then they go like, let's go have a little break while we're doing this, and they can put everything to the side. But then the second thing is, what do? They go and take deep breaths. So it's the deep breaths that actually relax them and calm them. And this is why so many of the smokers do it, because most of them say they don't like it, but it's their little way of calming themselves because they don't have any other way. So just one deep single breath grounds your nervous system. Just one breath can make a massive difference. It signals to your brain to slow down and puts you back in control. It gives you time to respond. So if you start feeling something coming up, just take a deep breath. In through the nose, out through the mouth. The other thing too is breath shifts emotion. Emotion, energy in motion, right? So an emotion is just energy. The breath shifts energy. This is why we do in our events some quite intense breath work. We shift so much. There's so much energy, there's so much emotion, there's so much trauma that can get let go of, because we're shifting the energy inside of your system at a nervous system level. And so we don't need to go to a full extent breath work every time we get triggered by something, but you can just take a few deep breaths. It's also, there's plenty of different things, just YouTube, you know, a 5, 10, 15 minute breath work, and you can just do one throughout the day. I recommend making it a daily practice. It's going to keep you much calmer. I do it, it's like meditation, it's like brushing your teeth, right? So unless you're going to a place and you're doing like a big intense breath work, that's gonna do a lot for you. But if you just do a daily 10-minute breath work, you're probably not gonna completely change your life after one session. It's kind of like brushing your teeth. Brushing your teeth, if you brush your teeth once, you're not gonna have the best looking teeth ever. It's a maintenance thing. So it's like meditation, it's like brushing your teeth. It's just a way to keep you on top It's like a daily practice that you keep doing. So take a deep breath when you're in that situation as well. And this kind of leads on to the third one here, is meditate daily, as I said. So if you can do those two things now, take a deep breath when you're in that situation allows you to take a step back almost as well. So you kind of like go in those two. But meditation teaches you how to sit still with your thoughts and without trying to stop them or without trying to be overrun by them. Just 5 minutes a day is fine. A lot of people say, I don't know how to meditate, I can't stop thinking. I was like, no shit, your mind is meant to think. That's its job. And so like overthinking, it's like your mind thinks, it's just the way it is. So we need to understand that the biggest thing is just taming that mind. You've just got to control it. You've just got to be able to control what you think about. You know, be the one that influences your thoughts, not have the external world influence them. So meditation is really important. 5 minutes a day is fine. Just focus on your breath. Sit there and just breathe. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in, I'm breathing out. That's the simplest form of meditation. There's obviously all different ones. But meditate, it just, again, it calms your nervous system so much. It calms everything down, so you're going to be less likely to overthink because you're in a more calm and relaxed state. So once you kind of go through and you're in those situations and you step back and you observe and then you take a deep breath if you need to and you meditate daily, the next tool or way to help you overthinking is to take a step out and kind of like zoom out a bit and see the bigger picture. Will this even matter a year from now, a month from now? Perspective can shrink problems and stop the loop. There was a lot of times in my life where I'd be like stuck in the details of things and I'd be getting almost stressed about different bits and pieces. I'm like, hey, does it even matter? And you see it so often. You know, people who want to make things perfect, they're like, they go in there like, this has got to be perfect. I've got to make this perfect. No, it doesn't have to be. You know, if you zoom out again, does it really even matter? Does it really matter? In 5 years' time, are you going to remember that? Is it going to be something that's changes your life? Probably not. So if you can zoom out a little bit, it's really important for that. And also this whole conversation of right and wrong and making someone else right or wrong and getting your point across. You know, so many people, like, they might say something and someone goes, oh, well, that's wrong, and they try and argue the point. But if we zoom out, does it really matter? Like, does it really matter? There was a story of a guy who was an accountant, and he was standing he was having a meeting with some people, and there was there was one of his clients, no, he wasn't a client, there was a guy there, and he was saying like he only makes tens of thousands of dollars a year. And he would be like, you know, well, if I don't want to earn any more, because then if I earn over 100 grand, I've got to pay extra tax and I've got to, you know, do all these things, and it's not worth me earning that much money. And this accountant was sitting there just like going, and he just went, yeah, and that was it. But then there was a third person there afterwards. He said, what did you do? Why did you just let that guy go? Like, why did you just say that? Like, you know that what he was saying wasn't right. You knew that that's not how the system works. And this accountant said the most amazing thing. He said, what does it even matter? Like, if he was my client, I would have said something. But he had his mind quite set up like that. It's not my job to change his mind. It's not my job to try and explain that to him. That's him. You know, if he comes for my advice, I'll tell him otherwise. But it doesn't really matter. Like, that whole thing about being right, you've got to zoom out of that and have a look at the big picture. So by him trying to make that person right, it's probably more of an ego thing for him than it was for the other person. Now, if he was a client, of course it would have changed. So think about that. Zoom out of the bigger picture. Take a look at the bigger picture. Does things really actually matter? That will help you overthinking as well. You know, imagine the situation or the thing that you're thinking about all the way down there. As I said, does it really matter? Probably not. At the end of the day, if we zoom all the way out, we literally don't survive. None of us come out of this alive. Does it really matter? Like, if you're lying on your deathbed, does it really matter? Does it really matter that you didn't go into work one day? Does it really matter that you pissed someone off? Did it really matter that you decided to choose you instead of someone else? Did it really matter if you failed at business? Does it really matter if you failed at anything? Does it really matter? No. So just knowing that makes a big difference in your overthinking about trying to make things right. Like, does it really matter if something took a year instead of 1 month? No, not really, right? So stop putting so much pressure on yourself, and then you won't have to feel the need to overthink. Number 5, help someone else. When you shift your focus from yourself and you put it outwards, you put it onto someone else, your mind gets a break from obsessing over your own problems. You know, if someone comes to you and they're like, or they need some help, if you help them, you actually are also helping yourself at the same time. Because you'll say things that most of it are for you, but it seems like it's for them. How many times have you seen people try and help, especially men, try and help so many other people, and they put everyone else first, but they don't neglect themselves? What they're really doing is they're actually trying to help themselves, but they don't actually see that, and they give really good advice for everyone else, but they don't listen to themselves, but they need it themselves. Like the advice that they give is for themselves, really. So if you can understand that your advice is for you, and if you give it to someone else, it gives you a way to be able to access that advice rather than giving it to yourself, because most times we're caught up in our own problems that we can't access that. But if we put it outside of ourselves, we tell someone, whenever I'm coaching someone, I'll be like saying things and I'll be like, in my mind, I'll be like, was that for me? And I'll always write things down. In the session, I always get something out of it for me, because I know I didn't say things for no reason. Same as this video, like I'm saying these things. I reflect on every little thing I do and say, what's the lesson in here for me? Because life's just a series of lessons. And if we can see it like that, then there's no need to overthink, right? And this leads me on to number 6, ants. Identify your ants. Now, ANT stands for automatic negative thoughts. The first time I heard this, we were on a coaching call, one of our mastermind coaching calls, and I'd actually never heard about this before. And someone said, talking about ants, and I was thinking for a second, I'm like, I feel like I kind of have heard this before, but I don't really know, I don't really understand. And I just asked him, like, what are ants? Like, what do you mean? And he said, automatic negative thoughts. I was like, oh wow, I've never heard that before. But it's so important we just have these negative thoughts, right? Because we are programmed to be negative. On average, we hear the word no and what we can't do 147,000 times by the time we're 18. On average. That means there's people that have a lot more, and there's some of us that have a lot less. Obviously, it just depends. But most times you'll hear, and I see it all the time with people in my family, parents will tell their kids, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this, no, you can't do this. And so what is that? It's showing everyone what they can't do. And as a kid, we don't have that awareness. Now, if you told a kid, like, you know, sub 10, don't open that door, all they hear is open that door. If I said to you, don't think about a red car, all you hear is, or all you think about is red car. And so if we don't have our, like adults, if you said don't open that door, we would know that you want to keep it shut, right? But kids don't have that awareness. So all they're hearing is open that door, and they don't know what else to do because they don't have the awareness, they don't have the logic yet. So that's how we get programmed. And so these negative thoughts are just on autopilot most of the time. So it's about challenging them. We need to be very aware of our thoughts. I highly recommend writing down, getting a notepad or even in your phone, every time you get a negative thought that comes in, just write it down. Anytime it comes in, just write it down, and be very mindful. Like, you might be sitting here watching this video right now and there might be some little thoughts that are going like, I could never do this, this seems too hard. Those are little limiting beliefs, and those are the negative thoughts that are creating your reality. You're going to get more circumstances and situations to fuel those beliefs, because that's how reality happens. So what you really need to do is identify what those are, challenge them, ask yourself, are they true? No, they're not true. What's possible for you now that you're not true? And that's just a little tape that's playing in the background. And once you unplug that and find out how it is untrue for you, everything will change. So challenge your ants, get rid of them. Get that ant spray out and blow them away. The next one, acknowledge your wins. This is so important. A lot of people, they don't acknowledge their wins. They don't celebrate themselves. They might achieve one thing and they go on to the next. Whereas if you actually look back and see how much you've accomplished in life, man, you'll be so surprised. Your brain is wired to spot danger, to keep you safe, right? It's not there to keep you and go, oh, look at all these things you've achieved. Look how successful you've become. It's not, just doesn't do that. It's not designed for that purpose. Your mind is designed to keep you safe, and it's very good at that. But we need to train it to look for the good and for the wins and to celebrate your progress. One thing that we do inside of one of our programs, our mastermind, is every quarter we have a 2-day weekend. And at the start of that, the first thing we do is we go reflect over the past quarter. What have you achieved? What's your accomplishments? What have you learned? What the lessons and stuff you've learned? What have you got? What have you can be grateful for? And we just do a big list, you know. And it's so surprising when people take the time to do it and go, wow, I've actually accomplished so much, big and small, that you actually have a better awareness of yourself. You're like, wow, I'm actually making good progress. Something so simple. But when was the last time you ever took time to look back and see how much you've achieved in your life? Probably never. So doing that alone will then help you to stop overthinking, being like, wow, well, I'm actually doing all right. So there's nothing to overthink about then, right? The next thing is staying present. This is a big one. Being able to stay present. You know, a lot of people, they overthink about what's happened in the past and they're going to overthink about what's going to happen in the future, and no one's actually now. One thing I always say to myself is be here now. Be where my feet are. Where my feet are. Like right now, I'm here. I'm filming this. Nothing else matters. I'm here. If I am doing something with my family, nothing else matters. Just where I am. If I'm working and doing some deep work, nothing else matters, I'm there. If I'm on my phone, nothing else matters, I'm there. And I'm just wherever I am, I'm there. And then you don't have to worry about overthinking then, because most times when people are overthinking, they're not where their feet are, right? So anchor yourself in the now. You can do that with a few deep breaths. You can just get into your body. The best way to get out of your mind is into your body. So put your attention down at your soles or your palm of your hands and just sit there for a second doing this. And just sit there for a second and observe. There's also another little technique you can do where you can go like, okay, what's 5 things I can see? You know, we use our 5 senses. So you can, what's 5 things I can see? And so you look around, I can see this. What's 3 things I can hear? I can hear this, I can hear this, I can hear this. What's 2 things I can touch? And so you go, okay, I can touch the watch, I can touch the table. Then what's something you can smell? And so you go, and you may have to really find something to smell depending where you are. Maybe, you know, check your underarm. And then the last one is taste. Like what's something you can taste? Maybe you can taste like a bit of a mucky taste. Maybe you can taste a bit of breakfast. Maybe there's not much taste. Maybe you can taste the toothpaste. It doesn't really matter, and you might not be able to actually label what it is, but just be aware of it. And so running through that little exercise, going through those 5 senses, that'll bring you very present as well. So that's a nice little thing that you can do at the same time, which then the more time you're present, the less time you have to overthink, right? And number 9, consider someone else's perspective. This one is very hard in the moments to do. I would say not hard, just unfamiliar. You might not be seeing the full picture. You know, you're only seeing the world through your eyes. You're not seeing it through something else. This is to give you an extreme example, and I use this example a bit. The World Trade Centers, right? Like, I'm not saying it's right, but from the Western world, that was like a terrible thing that could happen, right? But from the Eastern world and where they came from, not everyone, but you know, the ones that were involved, they were celebrating. It was the exact same event. It just, the perspective changed on how they view the event, right? Who's right and who's wrong? I don't know. You know, I don't necessarily think it was the right thing to do. It just is what it is now, right? But you can see how much it shaped the world, 100%. Whereas if we can take that and ask ourselves, what else could this mean? What's going on for this person to see it like that? What might be going on for them to see this situation, event, or to act that way, or to do this, or to say that? Then that gives you an understanding of what's going on for the other person, which then allows you to stop overthinking things. You know, your kids could be doing something, and instead of automatically seeing it from your eyes as an adult, see it from their eyes. Like, what might be going on for them to do that, like at that age? Like, have a look from their perspective. That is such a powerful thing to do, and you'll understand. And when you can, it's freeing. It's so freeing that you can understand that the world is just a reflection of us, and everyone's seeing the world how they want to see it through their perspective, and it's really just a reflection of them. So how people are seeing that is not you, it's the other way around. You then get to have that greater awareness of like, wow, I wonder what's going on for that person. And then that's freeing, right? So the next thing is take one small action. Action kills overthinking. It builds momentum and clarity. Don't wait for the perfect time, just move. The more that you think about things, the bigger it gets. Has your alarm ever gone off in the morning and you snooze it and you're like, I'll get up and I'll get up. And it's like the longer that you snooze it, if you keep snoozing it, the harder and harder it is to get out of bed. Well, not taking action is exactly the same as that. The longer you leave the action, the harder it is. It takes more effort because you are talking yourself out of it and you're overthinking it so much more. Whereas if you just do it, it's done, there's no need. So ask yourself, like if you're overthinking about something, ask yourself, what's one small action I can take today, right now, to be able to get over this or to move towards the thing that you want? That will then kill some of the overthinking. Number 11, face your fears head on. Again, very similar. You know, the enemy to fear is action. You know, what are you really afraid of in these situations? The thing is to name it, right? And to go, what is that fear? Label it, lean into it and go, you know what? It's just not real. Fear, false evidence appearing real. You can face everything and rise. Straight into it. Take action, feel the fear and do it anyway. The fear is like attached to worry, and worry is what causes all of this overthinking. So if we feel the fear, and also if you're worrying, ask yourself, what do I fear in this situation? What am I scared of happening? What do I not want to happen? Then you'll find what that fear actually is. Now, there was an event that we did a few months ago now, and there was a guy who, he was talking and he said he had a fear of public speaking. I was like, right, let's get up. And I brought him up on stage, and he was like super nervous and he was saying things. I was like, let's have a conversation. I kind of like stood down and I said, tell me, like, you know, he was sharing his experience. So I'm like, tell me. And everyone was kind of like saying, you can do it, you know, encouraging him. And he did it. And you could see at the end, there was like this big sense of relief. Now, what that happens to him now is like, it's massive, right? Because he's done it. He now can say that he's spoken on stage in front of, I can't remember exactly how many people were there, but how he spoke on stage in front of a large group of people. So now he has that in his arsenal that he can do that. And then the fear has nothing to worry about because he's already done it, right? So face your fears head on. And lastly, number 12, ask for help. You don't have to do this alone. You know, a coach, a friend, a mentor can bring insight that you can't see yourself. If you are overthinking about something and you just can't get it out of your mind, ask someone. Join one of our programs if you want. Ask someone about it. It will make a massive difference. Now, overthinking won't just go away on its own. You have to train your mind to work for you. Most times it's working against people. So choose one of these things today and commit to doing it, and write them down and maybe put a bit of an action step plan for the next 30 days on all the little things that you're going to do, and keep doing them, and you'll finally get to a point where you feel free. You made it to the end of the video. You are the true top 1%. Now, don't forget to like and comment below what your biggest takeaway was. I love hearing that. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you liked. Tell me what you didn't like. The biggest insight, realization. I read them all and I like seeing what you got from this. Now, if you'd also like to grab my copy of my free ebook, 4 Rules Any Man Can Follow to Radically Transform His Life, click on the link down below in the description in this video. And if you love this video, you can check out some of the other videos on here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.